President Trump name-dropped Tulsi Gabbard at his rally yesterday. Let's see what he had to say.
Was a Russian agent. Now, I don't know Jill Stein. I'm sure she's a fine woman. But I know she's not a Russian agent. Then she said, Tulsi Gabbard is a weapon of Russia. And they lost all credibility because we know that Tulsi Gabbard, and I give her respect, she didn't vote the other day. I give her a lot of respect. Because she knew it was wrong. She took a pass. But I don't know her, but I know one thing. She is not an agent of Russia. Now, what they said about me 3 years ago, took me 2.5 years ago, 2.5 years of phony, horrible hits.
So when he says, like, well, obviously, come on, Jill Stein's not an agent of Russia, Tulsi's not an agent of Russia, this is ridiculous. This is listen, on that, what are you going to do? He's right. He's correct about that. They're not agents of Russia, and all Hillary and her team does is just anybody who we don't like, we're just going to accuse them of being, Russian puppets or whatever. They even did it to Bernie recently. She did it to Bernie on Howard Stern's show recently. Oh, Putin wanted him to win. Like, she has nothing substantive to say, so she goes to that. And it's so transparent at this point. If you don't see through it, I don't know what to tell you. You're so far off in the weeds, it's embarrassing. But notice, he's like, oh, she voted president. I respect that. It's good for her. Hey, Don, do you know what else she did? Now, listen, personally, I told you guys I would have voted yes on Article 1 of impeachment because he definitely did the thing that they accused him of doing, which is abusing his power, which is holding up aid to get an investigation, to get dirt on Joe Biden and his son. Now, by the way, I am not for the aid that we're giving to Ukraine. I'm not in favor of that. But that's neither here nor there, because that's not the question. That's not what we're discussing here. What we're discussing is, should it be okay for a president to withhold aid to try to get something for his own personal political benefit? And the answer to that is obviously no. So he definitely did it. I have issues with, they should have never gone down this road of impeachment in the first place. And if they did go down this road of impeachment, they should have done it over emoluments and corruption and genocide in Yemen and a million other things, okay? But when it comes time for the day to vote, and obviously this is the strategy that they're going to do, and there's no ends, ifs, or buts about it, what am I going to do? He's guilty on Article 1, so I would have said he's guilty. I would have voted yes for that article of impeachment. Article 2, I would have voted no, because I don't think he's guilty of the thing they're saying he's guilty of. Oh, you obstructed the impeachment inquiry. No, he didn't. He's taking it to the court, and I think that's 100% allowed. So, but anyway, I digress. So, in other words, I disagree with Tulsi's vote there, present. I don't agree with it. And I actually think her reasoning was pretty poor, because she basically said, like, we're really divided as a country and we need to come together, and I'm standing up for the center. I don't care if we're divided. The question is, did he do it or did he not do it? We would be massively divided in Congress on Medicare for all. Does that mean it's inherently bad? No. That's not. I don't like the idea, I'm just standing up for the center. I don't like that at all. However, she voted president. He's giving her credit for that, which obviously now corporate Democrats and the media are like, aha! See, Tulsi's really terrible across the board. She also censured Donald Trump. And that he didn't talk about. That he might not even know about, because I don't know how much that was reported. But the media won't talk about that either. Okay? And so what did she actually say in her official censure of Donald Trump? We'll take a look. 1. Violating the War Powers Resolution and Article 1 of the Constitution by carrying out acts of war without congressional approval. That is a super substantive criticism, and she's right. 2. Illegally and unconstitutionally using U.S. military forces to occupy and pillage oil field reserves of Syria, a sovereign nation. Thank you, Tulsi. Thank you for somebody bringing that up. I don't know why more people aren't talking about that. We're just casually stealing the oil from a sovereign nation. And he admitted it. He said it publicly. 3, recklessly enabling President Erdogan of Turkey to invade and occupy northern Syria and conduct ethnic cleansing of Syrian Kurds. 4, continued support for Saudi Arabia's genocidal war in Yemen that has caused death, suffering, and starvation. 5, recklessly abandoning nuclear agreements and treaties like the INF Treaty with Russia and the Iran nuclear agreement, thereby increasing the risk of nuclear war, nuclear proliferation, and war with Iran. So, listen, here's the reason I'm doing this, is because even though I have plenty of disagreements with Tulsi, and I've voiced them on the show over and over. It is not fair for the media to act like, oh, she's just flat out pro-Trump for voting president on impeachment. And it's also not fair for Donald Trump to act like, Tulsi is like pro-Trump or whatever. Now, he didn't flat out say that, but the idea that he was like, oh, I give her respect or whatever for voting president. Like, no. Why don't you look at what else she said and look at what else she did? And this is part of what she did. She censured you, and she did it over very substantive issues. Quite frankly, issues that you could have actually been impeached for that would have had a much deeper political impact on you in a negative way, Trump. Because if you're impeached over substantive stuff like the stuff she censured on, well, then your poll numbers might actually be plummeting at the moment. But instead, they picked a really weak angle on you, and, we are where we are now. But I don't think it's fair that the media acts like she's now totally pro-Trump and that Trump is acting like soft on her when everybody's just ignoring another part of the picture, which is even though I disagreed with her president vote on impeachment, I don't think that was the right way to go. But even though I did it, I do disagree with it. She censured him and was very clear in her criticisms, and that should be talked about a hell of a lot more than it is being talked about. Because that's the conversation we should be having. Her criticisms are much stronger than the articles of impeachment. The articles of impeachment are a hell of a lot weaker than the stuff she's hitting him over. So that needs to be said, that needs to be pointed out, and everybody could stop gleefully pretending like, she's wrong about everything now, or she's just a Republican now. That's not true.